what's going on, YouTube? This is going to be part 2 of the 7 pre-made classes that New World Aeternum is going to have for you to choose from. This one's called the Destroyer. People were asking me in my other video yesterday about the Soldier build. Will we be able to change weapons at any time? Yes, these are just going to be preset classes that help people decide, and show people what weapon combos kind of complement each other. Let's go over the Destroyer build. It's basically like what they call a bruiser build. I will be ranking these classes what I think the best ones are to rank up, and of course it's all subjective, but this probably got to be the worst in my opinion. The hammer and great axe in New World are both support weapons and not damage weapons, so you're going to be struggling with damage with these two, and especially if you go up to medium or a heavy build, you're really going to be hitting baby damage. I mean, very small numbers, and it's going to take you a while to kill enemies and rank up. Now, you will have good crowd control with the hammer. And with the great axe, there's a couple. Usually the great axe is used in support with a grab well. It's basically for grouping enemies together. That's all that weapon is for. But I'm going to put offensive skills on it that you don't normally see, so that way you can do some damage. Same thing with the hammer. The main weapon that you're going to use out of this build for damage will be the hammer. With the skill tree, it has inherent cooldown effects that I'll show you. That way you get your abilities back faster. I think that's going to be the best way you're going to be able to run this class. Not my favorite at all, but let's get into it. So with my soldier build, if you saw that video, it basically has a round shield. All right, now that does add weight, so every piece had to be light here to be at the 13 right before you go into medium. All right, we're staying in a light equip load here. Now on the Destroyer class, what you're going to see is I have medium gloves and medium pants. Now, why did I select that? Well, because I don't have the round shield anymore, so my weight was reduced. And if I didn't go up to medium pants and medium gloves, then I would be lighter than normal. Let me show you. So if I would have kept the light gloves on, see, now I lost more protection and I went down in weight a little bit. You want to be at the very top to add to your physical and elemental protection. So if I throw that back on, and now we got some more protection. So the medium pants is really good to get used to if you want to be DPS, because the attuned leather pant artifact that drops in Elysian Wilds out of the main story quest is medium pants. So you would add one either medium glove or medium head or medium feet to get right at the top of the light gear cap. I always did the gloves, so that's why I did that. You could choose whatever ones you want to go with. Now let's look at the skill tree of the hammer. Now the hammer and great axe only scale with strength. So if we go to great axe right here, damage scales with strength. If we go to warhammer, damage scales with strength. So you're mainly going to be just going strength on this. It makes it very simplistic as far as, where to put your attributes. You could put some in con, and then you can put the rest in strength. Just go all the way up. When you start getting attributes, I wouldn't go above, 50 con while you're ranking up. Just learn from there and just put the rest into strength, because you want to do damage. Con is not your friend. I'll say it again. Let's go to the warhammer. Let's start off with the main DPS build. Okay, I would first select armor breaker, because that's going to be a powerful swing that penetrates 35% of the target's armor and deals 160% weapon damage. The most annoying thing when ranking up to me was always the enemies that had shields in front of them that you had to break their stamina so you can actually hit them. And the same thing with the lost enemies that have the graves on their back, and they turn to you and they do damage to you while you got to break their stamina. And those things, man, they take a while to break when you're ranking up and you got weapons that don't hit very hard. So the armor breaker is going to help break that stamina real fast. Not only that, the third dot right here is going to inflict a lot of rend, 30% rend for 10 seconds, which is huge. So what you're going to struggle with starting off ranking up is debuffs, right? And by basically adding 30% rend to a enemy, you're going to be doing a lot more damage to them because they are going to be weaker to your damage. That's what rend is. Weakening is them doing damage to you. They are weaker doing damage to you. It's two different things. Now, this adds grit to armor breaker also, and grit, basically, your character lights up in all white, and your attack cannot be stopped or staggered from the enemy. So you will get the hit off no matter what. Character turns all white, and boom, I'm going to hit them and break their stamina. And I also add 30% rend. Now we're able to do some damage here. The second ability I would go with would be the Mighty Gavel, just for ranking up. And that's going to slam down overhead. So first of all, you hit him with the armor breaker, and then you could, boom, slam down. And that's going to be a good damage deal. Let's see. It does 190% weapon damage as it crushes down on an enemy. Now, you could select this dot right here if you wanted to get the extra 20% damage to target below 50%. Or this one's good too. If you get a heavy attack in, then you're going to increase your damage 20% by 4 seconds. So if I was to select that and go up to a mob, I'd probably start off with a heavy like that, and that's the only time I'd heavy, and then armor breaker, and then I would hit the Mighty Gavel, and then I would light swing away. I would not heavy with the hammer, okay? And the reason being is because you probably won't have a Trench and Strikes hammer for a while, and that's just going to be a DPS loss if you're heavy swinging. Also, you want to get your cooldowns back faster. So after you select those two, I would come right over here to armor, increases armor by 20% if surrounded by 2 or more enemies. It's going to give you some more survivability, but this is what we really want to click on quick. So acceleration, reduce Warhammer cooldowns by 7% when using light attacks to targets with an active debuff. So once you hit them with that rend and they have the debuff of rend, then you hit them with light attacks, you're going to get your cooldowns a lot faster. It's going to reduce the time, so that way you can just constantly go through the cycle. Now, if you don't want to do a heavy at all, you're not worried about the extra empower because it's only 4 seconds, then you feel free to choose whatever die you want. So after that, what I would pick would be this Shockwave. And the reason why I choose Shockwave here is because if there's a bunch of enemies running at you and you want to be able to get that heavy attack off before you start getting into your abilities, then being able to stun them is really nice. And I would just go ahead and work my way down on the tree here, because you're going to increase the range to 4 meters with the Shockwave, and it's going to add weakening, decreasing damage dealt from the target's attacks by 10% for 10 seconds. So that's really good. And then after that, you can start just picking the dots that you want to choose. Increase armor penetration by 10% for all Warhammer basic attacks. That's good. It's going to help you do more damage. You don't need that one. You don't need that one. You don't need that one either. You could choose that one if you wanted to. I don't really think it's necessary, but you're going to have to pick some of these dots to fill in to get the ultimate. So what I'm going to do is go down the tree on Mighty Gavel. I'm also going to pick this one right here. Increases armor breaker damage by 25% against targets above 70% health. So when you're starting off, you're going to do more damage to targets above 70% health. So that's going to be good because you're going to use that early. And then right here, Justice for All, Mighty Gavel now has grit. Its critical hit chance is increased by 20%, and hits will reduce all other Warhammer cooldowns by 10%. So we're going to get our cooldowns pretty quickly here. Now, increase damage dealt by 35% after 1 second of taking damage. Definitely select that. And then over here, I would go ahead and select this right here, the Resurgent. After you're using after 2 light attacks with the Warhammer, all debuff durations on you are reduced by 25%. That way, if you get shot with the arrow and you get rended or whatever the case may be, you can start working on those debuffs getting taken away. Since you won't have like a purified toast earring or whatnot to take it away, that would be probably your next best bet. And then heal for 35% of damage when using a Crowd Crusher ability. That could be one. This one I would definitely choose. Concussive Impact. Deal 15% increased damage against targets affected by Warhammer debuffs. So there you go. So you're going to be doing more damage this way, and you're going to be doing more damage with the hammer than you will the great axe for sure. So now we have our 3 abilities. So basically you can go up to a group, and every situation is going to be different if you have a single target or if you have a group. But you know, if you have a group, you can stun them. You're weakening them all. You get the hammer for your empower. Go ahead and hit the armor breaker, and then go hit mighty gavel, and then you're just going to light swing away. Start working on them cooldowns to do it all over again. Now with the great axe, I would start off, normally this would be, a great axe is 90 something% if you're using a PvE with Reap, Maelstrom, and Gravwell. But when you're ranking up, it's a different situation. So what I would go with is right here. I'd go with Greed. I'd start off with Greed. Your light attacks give you a stack of Empower, increasing damage by 5% for 5 seconds. So when you're starting off, you need all the Empower help you can get to do more damage because you're not doing much damage. And this will always help. And then you're going to get into the charge. Then you're going to go into execute. The charge is going to help with movement also, but you charge 15 meters and deal 120% weapon damage. Once you reach the target, you can stop the charge at any time, but the ability also has grit, so you cannot be stopped. Charge now deals extra damage based on time spent charging. And then you could select, I would say, Maelstrom, because Maelstrom, once you go all the way down the tree here, you're going to do 2 spins, which can be pretty good damage. I struggled with this one of what else to pick. Whirlwind's just not that good. It's just not going to do that much damage. It also has a 29-second cooldown, which is just a lot. The other 3 abilities are all going to be 19.3, which you can see right there on the screen. So I would do that. Now, I would go ahead and add grit to this attack because you do not want to use this attack and get staggered. It's a good damage attack, a powerful overhead attack dealing 200% weapon damage, base damage increased by 50% to foes below 50% health. So adding grit to that is always good. Execute has a 100% critical chance against foes below 30% health. You could wait on that because you'd have to look at their health, and then when they're below 30%, then use it to get the benefit out of that. So increase armor penetration of great axe attacks by 10% for foes below 50% health. You can choose that one. When you critical hit with the great axe, heal yourself for 10% of the weapon damage done. Critical damage increased by 10%. And let's see, great axe attacks against foes below 30% health, heal you for 10%. Don't really need to take that right now. Whenever your attacks are blocked, gain a stack of 15% damage for 10 seconds. Absolutely. Now, you could select this if you wanted to. During your charge, you may press block to execute a swing that deals 140, 50, 165 weapon damage based on time spent charging. And then you want to get the ultimate. You move 20% faster and deal 15% more damage when looking at a foe within 14 meters. And then I would go down the tree on Maelstrom. So this is going to extend Maelstrom's pull range, pull enemies closer to you by 50%. Consumes all projectiles when Maelstrom is active. And Maelstrom does an extra spin, pulling in enemies and doing more damage. Now, with this one, you can go ahead and select this dot if you wanted to. You don't need to. You could put the other dots other places. When holding a great axe, gain 10% damage when 3 or more foes are around. That would be very useful. You could also do this if you wanted more armor. While you're holding it, it's going to basically give you 20% more armor while 3 foes are within 4 meters. I would go with this one, Revenge. When you block an attack with the great axe, gain 5% damage for 5 seconds because you might end up having to block. And then you can select this one for the more armor. And then the last one, I would just go ahead and hit this. 100% critical chance for a foe below 30% health is pretty big. When you start getting into higher level enemies and you can actually tell that they're 30% health, and you want to take that and make sure you have the critical hit coming in to do big damage. There you go. You select that, and that's what I would go with. You could choose, different perks, whatever you feel works best. But the charge is going to give you some movement and can do damage. This is going to be a good damage attack right here. And then Maelstrom will help, pull enemies in closer towards you, group them up a little bit better, and then get to your Warhammer hits. This is a weird, I would say weird kind of combo that they put together here for starting off, because neither one of these are damage weapons or support. But I would use the hammer as your main DPS, your great axe as your secondary. So that's what I would do. And the maelstrom looks like this, which is pretty cool. The charge is basically you just sprint like that. That's hard to see in here. And then the overhead attack looks really cool. Boom! You can do good damage. So that's what I would do with this class setup. If you choose to run this class or you think it's gonna, you know, be good, good luck to you. Make sure that you get, if you can get all your amulet, ring, and earrings, constitution or strength, that would help you, because the other stats aren't really going to help you much. Now there are dots like, you know, right here in dexterity, 5% critical chance that could help you, 5% damage while at full health can help you. But I would just mainly stick into go to strength and some con. 50 con, probably all you need. Maybe 75 or something like that. So it's an interesting class. I don't know if you'll be running it. Let me know. If you choose different weapon perks on those weapons, you think of anything better, let me know too. I'm not opposed to that. I don't know everything, but played this game for a while. Ever since the beta when it first came, before it came out, even when it first came out. So I just try to do the best I can. So I'm Bebop. I stream every day live on Twitch. You can catch me over there. I run M3s. I do OPR. Yeah, it's always a good time. We got a good lively chat. They always keep it hype in there. And I stream on NISA EU server, even though I'm here in Texas. So I will talk to y'all later. Thank you for watching. Later.